Hello, it's Judith here. The question I have for you today is, how important is the past? And I'm pretty sure there will be a wide range of answers. If you are reasonably lucky, nobody has a perfect life, but if you're reasonably lucky, you may well have had a good childhood, and yes, there have been bumps along the road, but you've dealt with them. And generally you would say, yeah, I've had a good life. In which case, how important is that to you? Some people will say, well, it's irrelevant, really. It's happened and that's fine. And it's more important to be thinking about the future, or maybe even it's more important to be in the present, in the current moment, which is the only place where we can actually do anything. But they will probably flit around. And if they have been lucky, then they may feel that they enjoy remembering things and they enjoy talking about their memories with friends and families, because it's a nice thing to do. It makes you feel good, and it helps bind you together as a group. So for some people, the past is something that they can pretty much do what they like with. Forget about it, think about it because it makes them feel good, talk about it because it makes them feel good, and maybe even refer to it to help them with something that's going on now. So things that have happened in the past, what I call reference experiences, can help you with dealing with things now, which aren't going to be exactly identical, but the fact that you dealt with that can give you confidence that you can deal with this, or even give you some learning about how to deal with this. But it's, there's choices. For many of the clients I see, they have not been quite so lucky, and the past, maybe childhood, maybe more recent past, has not been good for them. And I am not one of those therapists that think, well, whatever you've come to me for, we need to talk about your past because the roots of what's happening now are all in your past, and we need to spend a lot of time talking about the past and going over it. That works for some people, not for everybody. However, I can't ignore it. So people may very quickly, often in the sort of consultation phone call, tell me about past stuff, or in their first session when I'm asking them questions, not specifically about the past may come up. Sometimes I ask them a question during a session and something will come up, or several sessions in, they'll just tell me something and I think, oh yes, that would have been useful to know. So it can be very important for the people that I work with to help them deal with what's going on now, if it's appropriate, if it's relevant. The answer I often get when I ask, well, do you think the stuff that we need to work on, is, no, I've dealt with it. I walked away at 18, I haven't been back, it's irrelevant. Or I had therapy and it's absolutely fine. Now, I'm not saying the therapy they had wasn't good, but sometimes we're only able to deal with so much at one time. So often there's residual stuff that needs dealing with, maybe not, or certainly not always. So for me, it's a very individual thing. Some people absolutely categorically don't want to work on the past, or more frequently are surprised about the effect that the past can have on your life. And the effect tends to be pretty serious and come down to the fact that if you've had issues as a child, whatever they were, and they don't have to be extreme forms of abuse. If you felt that you were the least favourite child and, your siblings got the praise and you know, the attention, that in itself can have an effect. Obviously, if you've been in an abusive relationship, there's a lot of recovery to do from that, but it doesn't have to be out and out impossibly abusive. You know, it can be subtle little things. I often talk about, you know, water dripping on a rock creates canyons. So if somebody is putting you down on a regular basis, not in a nasty way, but basically telling you that you're useless, or if they're doing it in a big way, even worse, then that water is dripping on the rock of your mind and telling you you're worthless, telling you you don't amount to much. And as I say, it can be from major events or just constant little digs all the time. And the latter is almost worse because you're not aware that it's happening. You know, it's okay, you know, yeah, he's a bit critical, you know, he doesn't like the way I do this, but you know, that's not significant, it's not important. Oh, it is very, very important. So pretty much everybody who I work with and suggest that we need to do some work on the past, what we're trying to do is work on self-esteem, because that self-esteem has been destroyed, as I say, either in a catastrophic way or in a drip kind of way. And it doesn't have to be talked about in great detail. It doesn't have to be talked about at all. Talking can help, and I'm very happy for my clients to talk, and very happy to listen. But there are things that we can do in hypnosis that are relatively gentle to deal with the past without having to go over it and bring it up again. And, you know, if the first thing we do doesn't work completely, there are other things that we can do. There's always other options. And regardless of what the person's come to me for, it's important in these situations to deal with the past, because you need to deal with the foundational stuff. You know, if whatever you're struggling with, if your self-esteem and your confidence is low, then you need to deal with the cause in, as I say, some relatively gentle way. And then we can deal with the issue that you've come with. Because quite often I get clients who've attempted to deal with the issue they come to me for in the past, and, oh, well, the therapist wasn't right, or the time wasn't right, or it just didn't work, or whatever. And that's generally because the issue is not the problem. The issue is a consequence of what's happened to them. So if any of this resonates with you, if you lack confidence and self-esteem, if you know that there are things in your life that have made you the person you are today, which is not the person you want to be or the person you believe you should have been, then come talk to me. The biggest issue is that for people in that situation, the past is still with them. And therefore, it's not only done damage in the past, it's doing damage now. So the sooner we do something about it, the better. So, as I say, if any of this resonates with you, please come and talk to me, and I can explain what we can do, how we will do it, and hopefully reassure you that this is something that you can tackle at this point in your life. So if you're ready, then get in touch. And that's me for this week, and I look forward to talking to you again next week. Bye.